So just to bring a little context, how we're trying to make sales fun, how we're trying to find problems, how we're trying to search for problems, to be able to create an environment for solving problems, for making band-aids out of transformation, stay till the end to find out, stay till the end to find out how we're trying to convert this process, so to speak. Welcome to the news, So fundamentally, it's one way to look at sales. It's one interesting way to look at sales. Like if, for example, somebody fell off their bicycle and they had a little bit of a bruised knee, and you happen to be like the closest 7-Eleven, for example. So, for example, that kid is walking along with their scraped knee, and all of a sudden they see you in your 7-Eleven, and your business is 7-Eleven, for example, except it's not quite 7-Eleven, it's a smaller business, and something of that nature is what we're trying to draw a depiction of is that mindset where you get to solve problems. It's trying to develop a depiction where you are able to create transformation in people's lives by being that Band-Aid. For example, being that Band-Aid bridge. Being a Band-Aid bridge in people's lives, for example, to try to be able to twist and reconceptualize and correlate the essence of the nature of sales in a different fashion, where you're trying to find these people, you're trying to find these bicyclers. Basically, you're trying to find people who just bruised their knee, who hurt their knee, who scraped their knee on their bicycle, and you're trying to provide them solutions to problems, and just being there, just being that first person that they see. For example, the first person in their path, for example, it's a powerful thing. It's an interesting concept to be able to realize and come to that realization that that's a powerful tool that you get to, you have the opportunity to, you have the ability to, you have the conceptualization to be able to be that first person that person sees after that they have scraped their knee, and you just happen to coincide with them. You happen to cross paths with them, you happen to connect with them, for example, and you conceptually get to be that Band-Aid. You conceivably, your business, your service, your product, your ability to be able to solve problems is what is inherently potential, and it's the most exciting aspect, in essence, in the relationship to sales. Making a corresponding conceptual dynamic in regards to sales and developing sales, and developing a sales mindset is inherently and fundamentally connected with the idea of being a fundamental Band-Aid of transformation. Being also first to the party, being also the first person there, which corresponds to being excited to solve problems, is a second side to the selling side of the sales process, which is meant to be able to turn the sales concept in and around, and turn it inside out, and turn it on upside down, to be able to make it fun, make sales fun, and make it interesting, and make it a unique, interesting, fun game, if you will, because in essence, that's why we named our company Dink Tech and Change for Game Studios. Dink Tech and Change for Game Studios, because in essence, the purpose is to cause change. The essence of the purpose of sales is to be able to cause change. It's to be able to fundamentally find problems. It's to be able to dig out problems. Sometimes there are problems that people didn't even necessarily know that they had because they're so used to them, or whatever. It's a conceptually usual consideration that these things are conceptually present necessarily, and so if you talk to one of those people and you show them a solution, a resolution with a product, service, or something in between that is something that can be sold to them necessarily, of course the money is worth the value, because in essence you're alleviating pressure off of a pain conceptual source, if you will. So it's just like being the Band-Aid. It's like being the Band-Aid, being a Band-Aid bridge to alleviate some strain, if you will, and also finding the problems, helping people identify the problems, searching for people, finding people in the world, having the ability to market, to be able to try to be that first person, trying to be that in quotes, that 7-Eleven mindset. Oh, yeah! So, in essence, you want to be the 7-Eleven because we want to be first to the party. We want to be the first people that people see when you're trying to sell something. That is a big part of sometimes the process, because in essence, urgency does have to do with it. That's why good communication as a salesperson also is relevant. Having a good CRM to be able to follow up with people is a relevant item in addition, because you want to be able to solve those problems. But fundamentally, also as a salesperson, you want to be excited about solving those problems, so that in essence, you know that you're going towards the essence of trying to solve those problems for these people around the world on a consistent basis, so that that also leads to the essence of you being the first one there, not just by chance of you walking in the park and seeing some little child who just scraped their knee after they fell off their bicycle necessarily, and you happen to have a Band-Aid, and so that therefore makes you the Band-Aid of that transformation necessarily. But it's the other side. It's you have to be excited about causing transformation in life in the world, so you have to be a good marketer to try to be able to find people on the internet and leveraging tools and systems such as Facebook, which is in essence a giant tool. It's a giant tool system to be able to connect prospects with clients and conceptual products, and that's one of the larger features of the purpose of Facebook, because that's the essence of why I guess they were able to make strides in the marketplace over the short and the long term in the past, because they connect with the right people in the right places in the right time by using their filtration system and tools. And so fundamentally, you have to want to solve problems. You have to want to be able to learn that tech, to be able to get that tech, to be able to get you in front of the right people, to be able to help to solve their problems, because ultimately that's what salespeople do. And it's also the essence of bringing those Band-Aids of transformation and being that Band-Aid. Not just bringing the Band-Aids, not just bringing the product to be able to call upon the resolution, but actually being, as a salesperson, being part of the resolution, being part of that product and resolution, because that's part of the experience, and that product experience is part of the product experience of the experiencing of the experience of the product before they actually release or are able to be relieved by the product necessarily, because you have to be part of the product. You are part of the product process and experience, which leads them to the product. You're holding them in a connection to the product in essence. So you're in essence the bridge. You get to be the bridge. You get to be the transformation. You get to be that. And also it's two-sided, because if you're excited and you're running around, then you get to be the first one. You get to be eventually like the 7-Eleven, because you're everywhere. You're running around. You're trying to find the people with the problems in essence. And 7-Eleven is similar. They're everywhere. So if anybody ever scrapes their knee, pretty much typically they're going to go to a 7-Eleven, because 7-Eleven is in the closest proximity to be able to solve that problem of a knee scrape, to be able to get that Band-Aid. And in essence, you want to, in essence, just use that analogy, use that conceptual mindset to be, in essence, a Band-Aid of transformation. A Band-Aid that is also symbolized by a bridge that is also symbolized by transformation at the same time, because you, in essence, are the Band-Aid, you are the bridge, you are the transformation at the same time in a symbolic sense. Oh yeah, you are the symbolic Band-Aid at the same time in a symbolic sense, because in essence you are leading them as a bridge from where they're at in the past to be able to, in the future, be able to go across the other side of the bridge to be able to resolve their problem and their issues. Because of you, you are the bridge, you are the Band-Aid at the same time. You also are the Band-Aid that's covering the wound, the scraped knee, for example, and that Band-Aid covers that scraped knee, and it causes healing from one side of the knee to the other to be able to reach the healthy sides of the knee to each other to be able to cause healing, and then therefore you're causing transformation. But that's the most exciting part, I reckon, is to be excited about transformation. It's to be searching for transformation. It's to be actually, as a salesperson, be able to be motivated and inspired by searching for transformation to be able to cause, because that's in essence your job as a salesperson, and that in essence makes it so you've got the ability to find problems, not necessarily just solve problems, but to be able to find problems, fundamentally go under the woodwork to be able to find problems, just like someone who's looking for kids who've scraped their knees in the park, for example, except that's a joke. You're leveraging sourcing to be able to connect with the specific people that might have problems in your industry, that connect specifically with the mindset of the essence of the products and the services that you sell, more or less in essence, but you in essence are the actual product or service, because you are the spokesperson, you are the communicator, and you therefore connect humans with their emotions to their product, to the service, to the pipeline of available healing energy to be able to heal like a Band-Aid, heal like a Band-Aid, and be excited to be the first one there, be excited to be the first one at their doorstep, so you're not feeling the opposite of that. You don't feel like the phone is heavy, you don't feel like you're opposed to wanting to pick up the phone to try to be able to interface and interact with people and communicate with people, because you're excited to be able to try to solve their problems and be a resolution, and be the Band-Aid and be the bridge to the better side, to be the Band-Aid to the resolution side. And then therefore cause change for games, causing change for games around the world, helping cause change for games around the world, and then therefore causing more philanthropy energy generation, causing more of a global good deeds economy, as a salesperson. You are a sales superhero, yeah, and at the same time, we're then developing the global philanthropy energy grid all together as one, all the salespeople. Oh yes, all the salespeople together. We are in harmony, harmoniously, trying to build the global philanthropy energy grid. So nonetheless, Nonetheless, we all want to cause change. We all want to cause change by making games, gamifying the process, making it fun, being a fun bridge, being a fun band-aid, band-aid for transformation. We want to cause transformation. We want to be the light that is symbolized by transformation, and also knowing that your product, your service causes transformation. You know you have a good, reputable product with high integrity, and that is what you're bringing into the game. That is what you are representing. That is what you are trying to cause by bringing this band-aid into the process, by finding and uncovering and digging up these problems, finding the people with the problems that didn't even necessarily know they had those problems. It's finding those problems. It's searching the world. It's scouring the world. It's scouring the parks for kids that might have fallen off their bikes. For example, as a symbol, as a joke, as an analogy. But you want to scour the internet. You want to scour your prospects. You want to scour your prospecting context so that in essence it's fun. It's fun to search for problems because in essence you know you've got the highest and best resolution ways to resolve these issues, and so you're excited to try to bring these resolutions as band-aids to these kids who have hurt themselves, for example, and then they are then therefore symbols of band-aids and bridges that leads into resolutions and transformations. Leads and lines into transformations, band-aids for transformations, band-aids for transformations. Oh, yeah. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dink Tech, Change for Games. Also, let's remember to clear the animal shelters. Clear the animal shelters by hiring shelter animals as healers in and among and throughout our communities. Let's hire the shelter animals as healers in and among and throughout our community so we can clear the animal shelters, and also foster all the shelter animals as possible. Foster the shelter animals as well to be able to help the shelter animals to not be killed, because we're able to foster the shelter animals, which means get them out of the shelters and foster all the shelter animals and clear the animal shelters and adopt all the animal shelter animals, and also hire all the animals in the world as our healers, as human healers. Hire the animals as healers in and among and throughout our communities. That's all for now. Oh, yeah. Thanks again, Dink Tech, Dinky Tech, Change for Games. Dink Tech, Change for Games Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye. Oh, yeah. Bye.